my guest is coming to us via Zoom. She's not actually here in the studio with me because she's based abroad. So we'll find out a lot of things about her music, what she's doing, and maybe even learn something a little different about what the differences are between music over there where she's based, and of course when she comes to Ghana, what she feels those things are. So make sure you check us out on africaglobalradio.com. On Twitter and Instagram we are at AF Global Radio, Facebook Africa Global Radio, and of course you can send us a WhatsApp on +233 20706 4680. Arts Africa is brought to you by Africa Global Radio in collaboration with the Creative Writing Academy. Okay, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Excellent, excellent. We were a little worried there. How are you doing?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm fine, thank you. First and foremost, tell me, how do you pronounce your name?
It's Tee Kae.
Tee Kae, not Tee Kae.
No.
Okay, because it's spelled like Tee Kae, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so welcome to the show. What have you been up to this week?
Well, this week I've been applying for some summer job. So basically, yeah.
And you're based in Paris, right?
Yes, I am.
So what's the pandemic situation like there? I mean, in Ghana here, everybody's getting on with their business. What's the situation like in Europe now?
They've yet opened the shops, but then the airports are still closed, and the government is asking young people like myself to start taking the vaccine. Afterwards, the kids will also go in to take theirs. Okay. So bit by bit, we are going into the normal living again.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Okay, so I see you're reading Nancy Drew.
Yes.
I'm really excited about that because I was really obsessed with Nancy Drew, the famous five, the secret seven. So I love those mysteries, I always wanted to be part of them. So, usually when we have our guests on, we ask them to read something, take a little peek into your reading habits and, give us a little idea of who you are. So what's the title of the book that you're reading from?
Mystery of the Lilac Inn.
Okay. Okay, the floor is yours.
Okay, just a sec, please. So I'll just go ahead to read the summary of the book.
Okay.
So it's actually a fourth volume in the Nancy Drew Mystery Story series, which was originally published by Grosset and Dunlap in 1930. The story involves Nancy Drew helping her friend Emily Crandall find out who stole her jewels, and Emily's aunt and guardian, Hazel, unwisely removes them from a safe deposit box and carries it to her party where actually someone steals the jewels. So Nancy Drew puts herself in a position where she has to investigate to find out who actually stole the jewelries.
Yeah. What did you like about this book? I mean, have you read the because the thing that I find interesting, as you pointed out, that these books were written like nearly 100 years ago, right?
Yes. Yeah, I actually read it when I was in junior high school, first year. Yeah, it's a gift from a friend, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though it's like really old, I mean, when you're reading it, are there parts where you roll your eyes or you wonder, like, really, when you're considering how long ago it was written?
Yeah, when I first read it, I found it to be difficult to read because there were certain words that I was like, okay, I don't understand that word. And there were certain constructed verses or phrases in English that I was like, okay, I don't understand what they're saying here. So I had to like Google it up or find the meaning of the words. Okay. But then I really liked it, even though it was a bit difficult to.
Have you read the whole series?
No, just this.
This one. And are there any other series like you're into? Are you into Harry Potter?
Well, personally, I've not read the Harry Potter book. I've only watched the
The movies,
series.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to before we go into the conversation proper, we are going to play one of your songs. It's
Okay.
Nobody Else. Tell us a little bit
Okay.
about the song, what inspired it, and what's the takeaway you envision other people to take from it.
Well, actually, the song, as we all know, is about a love song expressing your feelings to the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a story based on some part of it, a personal experience, and also being heard from a friend about her relationship. So I thought, okay, why don't I blend the two stories together to form a piece where people feel connected to each other because they
Mm-hmm.
listen to it.
Okay, so let's have a listen to that. And then when we come back, we're going to find out about your music journey and all the things that you're up to. Hi, TK.
Yes, it was.
Excellent, excellent. Um, Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay. I was born in Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
Kumasi to be precise, and I schooled at KNUST from elementary to primary. Then, when I was in primary two, I moved to CCBS to continue where I completed JHS 2.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Afterwards, I came here to continue SHS
Okay,
at Lycée Leon Bloom.
okay. So how long have you been in Paris now?
Close to 5 years, I may
Okay.
say.
Okay. So, tell us a little bit about your musical journey. When did you realize that music was your thing?
Um, to be honest with you, I started to write music when I was in class six, but then I thought it wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped there and I even put away my music book. Then during the quarantine in 2020, September,
Mm-hmm.
I went back to writing music because I felt the passion again and the need to return to it. And so I started to listen to beats, and my manager sent in some beats that people sent to him, and I listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, I started to write music when I feel the vibe on the beat, and yeah, it took off from there.
So you have, obviously, you've only just recently entered the music game, but you already have a manager. How did that happen?
Um, it's not really official,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's like someone who is holding me up through the journey for the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now you, what's the music Paris music scene and Accra music scene? What are some of the differences? What are some of the similarities? Because obviously, here we don't really get to hear much sort of francophone music.
Um, well, for here, speaking honestly, I don't really know how much it's like, but then I can say it's a bit difficult to go ahead with it. It's a very very difficult journey, and I feel like in Ghana, even though the platform is there, we don't really give it to people. Just a few of us get up there or something. Then I can say within here, it's really difficult as well as it's there in Ghana.
Um,
So it's not easy anywhere.
okay. I'm talking also about yeah, obviously it's not easy anywhere, and maybe the streaming has
Yeah,
made it a little easier for people to go out on their own and not have to have a whole big machinery or company at the back of them. I'm talking about
exactly.
how for instance you've Afrofrenchy,
Mm-hmm.
which apparently is a word you coined.
Yes.
Um, what exactly is it? Because obviously we hear of Afro pop, we've heard of Afro dancehall, Afro beats. all these
Yeah.
modern types of Afro music. What is Afrofrenchy?
Okay. Afro-Frenchy is basically me mixing my local languages with the French language on an African beat.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it's just that it's basically you do English and Cree, because when we listened to your last single,
Yeah.
you had the fusion of Cree and even a little bit of the French inside, was the
Yeah.
mixture of the three languages. Are there any other artists who are doing what you do?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, that
Because that that particular word that I coined, I don't think most people use it.
uh-huh,
I'm the first person to really submit to that type of genre.
uh-huh. And how is it
Yeah.
being received?
Well, it's being received well because people I get feedbacks of people telling me, oh, we like the way that you mix the tree, pidgin, English and French. So it's really cool. We would like to hear more of that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm actually even thinking like somewhere like Ghana here, we're surrounded by francophone countries. And I'm thinking like the kind of music you do would be really great to cross over, because it's
Yeah.
music that, others can hear their language inside, and then of course the beat is something that across the at least the sub region is
Yeah.
very easy to identify with. Um I mean, obviously you live in France and you speak French, but um our proverb today was don't set sail with somebody else's star, and it was always about not copying other people and always looking to do something a little different. What influenced you? What made you look at the industry and say, well, oh, this is missing, I think this is what I can do?
Uh, for Ghana, for instance, we don't have many people mixing other foreign languages to make music. We only use the oh, why don't I use this second language that I speak as a means to like draw people closer through music?
Mm-hmm.
So looking the local languages with French is going to be something that people would like to listen to more.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Um, let's talk about your process of creating music. Like obviously, like your first.
Pardon?
I said, let's talk about your process, the process of how you create. Like in the last song of yours, or your song "You and Me," as you said, was
Yeah,
about your experience and another friend's love experience. How
yeah.
do you create the ideas? What influences the themes of your music? And what influences the kind of music you write, because you're a songwriter as well, right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. What I would say is that foremost, it's all about the beat. It start with the beat, the vibes that I feel on the beat.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I'll listen to a beat and I'll try to do a freestyle of it. The freestyle will come with some type of a theme. So what I feel behind the beat tells me what the story of that song should be.
Okay, so it's actually the beat that drives that, as opposed to you writing down some lyrics or maybe listening to a bit of a tune and then creating upon that. Who creates your?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so your manager gets the beats for you, right?
Mostly I get it myself because I'll be listening to beats on some producers' websites and I'll feel like, oh, this beat, I like it. Then I'll send it to my manager and tell him, oh, I like it. And he'll be like, okay, work something on it. Then afterwards, you send it to me. So I'll actually try to make a freestyle of it
Mm-hmm.
to make him hear how it will feel like with the lyrics on the beat. And then he will listen to it. If it's not good, he'll tell me, you can actually do better. So I'll go back and work again. Yeah.
And so, do you work in a studio? Do you have your own setup? How do you produce your music?
I write at home, then I'll go to a studio here in Paris to record.
Okay, okay. Do you have collaborators, or everything is just you and your manager and obviously a studio engineer?
At the moment, I have another great person in the media on board with me. That's DJ Bosiako. Shout outs to him, who has actually been motivating me and telling me how to go about with my music.
Okay. Are you making any money from it?
Just coins.
But at least it's a start, right? It's a start.
Yes, it's a start. Yeah, bit by bit.
What do you do to feed yourself as an artist?
What do I do to feed myself?
Yes, I mean, if the music is just bringing in coins, what? Because as you know, a lot of artists usually initially is not the art that sustains them. It's always a side hustle or something else that does that.
Currently, I'm not working. I'm a student. I'm not working, but then I receive a little bit from schooling from the government. So that's what I use
to live on, and then also to drive your music forward, pay for your studio time and stuff like that. What other artistic skills do you have apart from songwriting, and how does that influence your, the work that you produce?
I'm a dancer too. I dance a lot.
What type of dance?
Afrobeat dance and a bit of hip hop too.
Okay. And what other music genres influence you?
I like R&B a lot. I also like grime music.
Okay.
The drill type of music. Yes, I really like drill and hip hop.
Okay, so grime, what are your go-to artists?
My go-to artist is Santon Dave.
Oh yeah, Dave, I like him.
Of the UK. Yes, Santon Dave, and also Stormzy.
Yeah,
even though he's a girl.
Yeah, everybody likes Stormzy. Did you listen to the track that he featured on here in Ghana with
I think Young Tag, yes.
Yeah.
That's him.
What did you think of that?
It was cool.
Yeah?
It was cool. Yes. I liked it.
Okay, let's go and listen to your second track, the one we were going to listen to before, Nobody Else. What is Nobody Else about?
Okay, so Nobody Else is a young adult beginning to live her life. Then she meets this one person who comes along from nowhere, changes everything, and makes her feel special about herself, even though people don't see her truly for who she is. Then her partner sees something worth in her. Sorry. Yeah.
This is this also a love song?
It is.
So you are really into that kind of genre?
Well, I have a few more of that, but then I have a lot more of motivational, inspirational type of songs, which is not yet out.
Okay. When will you be dropping your EP?
It will take a while.
But at least you're on the journey, right?
Yes, I am.
For those of you who are just joining in, our guest today is Tee Kae. She's a Ghanaian musician, songwriter, and she is based in Paris. Okay, tell me, Tee Kae, in 5 years' time, where do you think, or where do you want to see yourself in 5 years' time?
Okay, in 5 years' time,
music-wise, I mean.
Yeah, okay. I want to have reached that particular goal of me reaching out to many people around the world by 5. Yes.
And reaching out, can you expand a little bit on that?
In terms of having more audience for my music, having more people who are really into my music and grooving to it. Yes.
Are there any of our artists like based here in Ghana that you would like to collaborate with?
Yes.
Who are those and why?
Okay. I would say Kelvin Boy.
Okay.
Kwesi Arthur.
Okay.
Joey B.
Okay. Kwesi Arthur
And
is really coming into his own at the moment. Yeah. And you said who else? Stonebwoy?
Yes.
And what about any female artists, Ghanaian female artists that have caught your eye?
I would say Fia.
Fia. Pardon?
I've always loved the Fia.
Yeah, she has an incredible voice, and I think she's one of the few. Yeah. You mentioned that you really liked R&B, and I think she's one of the few artists we have in Ghana, female artists, who does R&B really well.
Yes.
Really well. Okay, so Afrofrenchy. Of course, you've coined the name of this genre. How do you want it to pick up?
By people embracing it more, and other people, young people like myself, trying to do the same thing, if in case they speak French or they love the language. Yes. So I want it to be one of the popular genres that people really appreciate too, and will love to like listen to from the years to come.
Okay. Now, usually we used to ask our guests to bring one song of another artist that they really admire, and a song that means something to them, that impacted them in a really nice positive way, maybe helped push their own dreams. Who would that artist be?
Her from the US.
Okay, so you're a Her fan. What track of hers would you have brought?
I would say Damage.
Okay. A couple of weeks ago, after she won the Grammy, all our music on the show was by her, and Damage was one of the ones that we played. I think all her music is fantastic.
Yes.
So tell me, what are your social media handles? Because, people are tuning in. Maybe they've heard about you from the first time. How can they get more of your music?
You can connect with me basically on Instagram and on Twitter _T_Kae. And you can check out my music on all major streaming platforms: Audiomack, Apple, Spotify, Deezer, all of them. Tee Kae, T as in t-shirt, and K spaced out.
Okay, and the K is just the letter K, not K-A-E or K-A-Y or anything.
It's K-A-E.
Okay. And then, okay, T, so _T_K.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us and to talk about your music. Final thing, what words of advice would you give? Somebody's seen you, they're like, yeah, I know how to write a bit. I think I'm also a good musician. I also want to start my journey as a musician. What advice, what 3 tips would you give them of trying to get into the music space?
Be passionate about what you're doing. Never give up, even though it will be tough along the way. Be you. Never let people tell you what to do. Just be yourself. Do what you love, and then leave everything to God. to do the rest.
So when you first started and you were thinking, okay, I'm going to do English and Twi, I'm going to throw French in, were there people around who thought, this thing, I don't know if it will catch on, we don't know anybody doing it. Were there any naysayers?
Not really. But then there were some people who didn't want me to do Afropop, and Afrofrenchy. They wanted me to do gospel instead.
Who are those people?
Some family members.
But you know that they can also enter the gospel music themselves. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
If you want something, go and do it yourself. Tee Kae, thank you so very much for joining us, taking the time to join us today on Arts Africa. I'm sure a lot of young people tuning in will be really inspired. The fact that you started writing and being into music earlier on, you dropped it, you picked it up again, but in a short space of time, you're doing, you're doing well. So some people might say, wow, that was really quick, but obviously there's a lot of work involved there. So thank you very much for joining us. Okay, people, so that was the interview with Tee Kae, our guest for today. She's based in Paris and she is doing Afrofrenchy. Our proverb of today said, don't set sail using somebody else's star. Tee Kae could have joined the bandwagon. She could have just done the usual, sing it in English, throwing in a bit of Twi and doing what anybody else was doing. But she found her own star, she innovated it, and she's making music that has the same elements of what a lot of music out there has, but with a twist. And this is how life should be approached. Not by trying to reinvent the wheel, you can do it if you want, but by innovating. And I think Africa Global Radio is a perfect example of this proverb. Don't set sail using somebody else's star. As you know, in our space here, the radio station, a lot of radio stations doing an awful lot of things. And Africa Global Radio could have followed them, but they didn't do that. They chose to go in a direction which was about uncovering, which is promoting, which is anything that's positive and that's African. Teaching us about ourselves. On the Africa Daily Show, you will learn about our African champions, people doing innovation, what's happening in the sciences, all those things that we often don't get to hear about. I think it's great for our self-esteem as a people when we know so many wonderful, positive things are happening on our continent. And, it fills us all with pride. And so this sets Africa Global Radio, it sets it apart from a lot of what's happening in the radio media space. Obviously, the journey will be, as Tee Kae said, a little bit more of a struggle, but it's worth it because what you're doing is relevant. It's relevant and it's important to us. And then, of course, I'm also going to blow my own trumpet. My show, Fab Teen, is also another perfect example of this proverb. I could have done talk shows the way we do talk shows here. I could have done dramas with the same themes and storylines the way we do here. But I saw a gap in the media space, and that was teenage girls are not represented. There's no visibility. There's no representation. And so I followed my star, and my show, Fab Teen, is airing today on GH1 at 2:30 p.m. and on DSTV channel 361. Today's topic is about careers, and we're interviewing a teen girl who is running her own business and also teaching teens how to make a vision board and start plotting for their future. So don't set sail using somebody else's star. Chart your own course with what you have from within. There's always room for something new and something fresh. Okay, it has been a huge pleasure. Thanks very much for Tee Kae, for her sharing her musical world with us. I'm really looking forward to seeing what she's going to do in the future. As always, a big thank you to my techies, Danny, who, has put things in and Whatever hurdles come across, he finds a way to get over it so that everything runs smoothly. And lastly, but not leastly, thank you to all for taking the time in to tune in and to listen to us. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll repeat it for the last time. Don't set sail using somebody else's stuff. We are on africaglobalradio.com. On Twitter and Instagram, we are AF Global Radio. On Facebook, we are at Africa Global Radio. And of course, you can send us on WhatsApp on +233 2070 64680. Arts Africa is brought to you by Africa Global Radio in collaboration with the Creative Writing Academy. My name is Alba K. Sumprim. I'm the host of Arts Africa on the Africa Global Radio. So we are going to close with Damage, which spoke to Tee Kae earlier, and she was like, yep, that's the song she would have brought. So we're going to go out with Damage by her. Let's meet here again next Saturday at 12 p.m. Over and out.